Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we are gonna look at my luckiest race yet. And as you'll see, the amount of top-notch drivers that are in here, like Okikurumi, Hotshot, Loom, Beggar, make this lucky run even luckier and more spectacular. So now, of course, since private lobbies aren't really a thing yet in Circuit Superstars, we have to play with some random drivers. And mostly this is not really that big of a deal, but oh man, today definitely was. So we are doing 20 laps of Maple Ridge, which means it's a long race, and the track itself, it's very fun. There are a lot of quick corners and slow technical ones, so yeah, it's a very fun track. But this qualifier is just so really important to nail, because with these kind of drivers, yeah, it's a big deal to become P1 or P2. So I wasn't really satisfied as I hit the barrier into turn 6 here, and the turn 1 wasn't really that great as well, so I lost a lot of time during those two corners. But I expected to be way lower on the board right now, but it did not really happen. I should have been way further down, but Hotshot is only in 4th, Loom is in 3rd, Danny is actually in 2nd, and then Okikurumi is nowhere to be seen. So there is that. But now the actual race. The first few laps are crucial, because if you get any damage or something like that, it will slow you down a lot. So getting clean through those first corners is really important. But as you'll see here, there was a slight touches in the back, and then there was a big crash. So Okikurumi was involved. So he's now all the way down to probably like 7th or 8th. So that's very unlucky for him, but very fortunate for us. So that's not most of the time, that's not how I want to win races, but if it happens during a league race, I'll accept it. So right now we are being chased by Loom, Danny and Hotshot, who are all very quick as well, as you saw in qualifying. But during these first few laps, I want to talk about the pit stop strategies, because you can do almost 4 different strategies here, but the two most used ones are just pit stopping at lap 5, 10 and 15, and then pit stopping at lap 4, 9, 14 and a 2 stop with laps 6 and 14, I think. So picking the right strategy is really important, and you'll see some of us do a 2 stop and some of us do a 3 stopper. So learning the difference during this race is crucial, maybe for the future events. So fortunately for us, during this race nobody did an undercut, so we were happy with that, because that would have made things a little bit more difficult. But now, coming at the end of lap 4, you can see on the minimap that we already gained some advantage on the second group. So Hotshot, Danny and Loom are still fighting, but Hotshot is actually now in 2nd instead of 4th, so that's good for him. And meanwhile, Okikurumi is still nowhere to be seen near the end of the 4th place, so near 5th place or so. So that's unfortunately for him, he has to cope with some damage, so that's gonna slow him down a lot. Now we are at lap 5 out of 20, coming in for our first pit stop. And you can see that Danny and Loom both stay out, so they will probably go for a 2 stop. Both, and Hotshot is staying in, so that's something to keep in mind for us, that he will be close to us. And now we actually, when we leave, you can see Okikurumi is in front of us, but we will catch up because he has some severe damage, as I mentioned before. So also what is happening is that Danny went into the pits right now, and Loom actually stayed out. So Danny is doing the right pit stop strategy and Loom isn't. Which means that Loom is gonna go lose a lot of time, and we will gain back some lost time on him right now because he's just staying out. Now you can see that the gap between me and Hotshot is quite staying the same, so we're almost on the same pace, I'd say. And Loom, yeah, just fell back all the way down to 4th place, and he came out right in front of someone, and we think that that is Okikurumi. So he's on for a good run still, even though his qualifying wasn't so great. So now we set the fastest lap yet at 28.7, almost 28.8, but it's still a very good lap, and as you notice, this time is actually almost the same time as we set during qualifying, so that really says how much pace there is in this lobby and what you really have to do and how crucial small mistakes are during qualifying. So now we are at the end of at the beginning, sorry, of lap 10, and we're going to do a second stop here. Hotshot still about 2 corners behind us, and Danny 2 corners behind him, so we are still in a good spot. So now we will come into the pits for our second stop, and we can see that Hotshot comes in as well, and then Danny as well. So we expect Loom to stay out, as you see happening right now. He will pass us now, and he will go to the pit stop at lap 14. So our goal right now is to try and overtake him right before he enters the pit stop, because if that happens, it means we will lose a lot of time, and he gains a lot of time on us. So our goal right now is to just take an advantage of his tires being worn out, and yeah, just going to push all the way and try to overtake him to lose, to minimize the amount of time we lose. So now we are chasing him down, so you can see he's being pressured and his tires are very weak. So you can really see when we take these fast corners and these slower corners as well, how much time we gain every corner, as we set an even faster lap than before at 28.75, and now we're really behind him, and he just lets us go. So I think he noticed that we were 1 faster, and 2, he wouldn't be able to catch up anyway, or be able to defend anyway with his tires being so worn. So he minimalized the amount of time he lost by just letting me go, and so that's both beneficial for me and for him, because I am fighting with Hotshot right now, and Loom is gonna fight with Danny, and later on Okikurumi probably as well. So that's the best thing he could do. So now we are in a very good spot. We are in P1 at lap 14. We overtook Loom, and he will go into the pit stop in this lap, and I will go in the pit stop next lap. So we will normally, without any mistakes, come quite close to each other out of the pits, so when I leave the pit stop. So we will continue now 1 more lap to pit stop in this lap, and Loom went in this lap, in lap 14. So now we are coming in for our final stop. And Hotshot's probably as well. Yeah, he comes in as well. So now we have 5 more laps to go. And you see actually that Loom is very far behind. So he just came around the final corner now, and he just probably made a mistake or something, or just lost a lot of time somewhere, because normally he would be closer to us. So now he was fighting with Hotshot and Danny, but Danny fell down because look who's in the top 4, it's Kurumi. So he actually made a very good run this race, still becoming 4th after crashing horribly into turn 2 in the first lap. So that's the only proof you guys need to see how fast he actually is, and how good of a driver he is to get the strategy right and overtake people, and falling down all the way back to almost last position, and then coming back to 4th place, which is still a very good result. And here, yeah, we just set an even faster time because we're getting used to the track, we're getting used to the conditions. 28.5, which is kind of a normal speed, I would say, because during qualifying normally we can do like 28.2s and 28.1s if we're perfectly almost. So yeah, there is that. So what I want to mention as well is during these pit stops we almost never left with 100 fuel. This is because when you stay in, you can lose a couple of tenths, and this can really make a difference between you entering the pit stop at first and leaving it at about 2nd or 3rd maybe even, or just leaving at 1st place. So there's a big difference between just leaving with the right amount of fuel and the wrong amount of fuel, and you can calculate that by looking just how much you lose every lap, because it almost stays the same, unless you make a big mistake and spin somewhere or something. So yeah, there you go guys, this was one of my luckiest races so far, with some strategy involved of course, but I've been very lucky here, and I want to ask you guys, if you like the video, make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and yeah, as always, have some safe racing. Bye.